everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast Close to Home, where I talk to people who are helping others in my area of East Texas. I'm Shara Goswick, your host. My guest today is Angel St. Clair. Angel and her family have started a nonprofit called Seven Roses to honor the memory of their son Payton, who was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident. They are using the pain that they have gone through and turning it into purpose to help others around them. I enjoyed hearing about Payton and who he was and what he liked to do. And I love what this family is doing to honor his memory. It's a very special interview. And if you can help out this nonprofit in any way, I encourage you to do that. Thanks for being
Angel,
here.
I am so excited to talk to you today. I found your nonprofit a while back and I had been meaning to reach out to you. And then, our friend Renee kind of connected us. And I'm so excited because I think this is a beautiful nonprofit. People start organizations like this usually out of pain or loss or some sort of something difficult that they go through and they want to help other people through it, which I'm understanding that's what you've done. But I love the premise of Seven Roses, and I would love for you to tell me how you got started and why you started this organization.
Well, like you said, it was out of a painful situation. On March 15th of 2021, we lost our son, Payton St. Clair, to a motorcycle accident. And, it just started out like any other Monday, as things like this often do. You just don't know what the day is going to bring. And unfortunately, by the end of that day, we were thrown into a situation that none of us were prepared for, were expecting. And it was really hard for all of our family because, like I said, you don't really ever expect to lose a child. You know that I guess it's a possibility, but it was just, it was really a hard time for us. And what was particularly hard about the situation is that he had a baby that was just 11 months old at the time, our first and only grandchild so far, Rosie. And so, again, just kind of walking through that. And to me, and I think a lot of our family and a lot of people going through this situation would agree, the hardest part is the moving on part. How do you move on? Because things still have life goes on, like groceries need to be bought and events need to happen. And also watching everybody else move on and kind of you feel like maybe forget that person that was so special to you. And especially Rosie doesn't remember her father, I guess, in a way that we would think. I do think she remembers him in a lot of ways. She remembers the feeling of him and she knows that she's missing something. But how do we walk through that and how do we honor his memory? And so we came up with Seven Roses. Seven was his football number for the Beckville Bearcats, which was a big part of who he was too. In the community that he was a part of. And then, of course, Rosie, who was so special to him. And he was just really embracing being a father, even at such a young age. And it was beautiful to see. So, Seven Roses was born, and what that is, it's still kind of growing. We're still kind of figuring out what we're doing and how we're going to be a part of the community. But the part, I guess, the basis of it is two scholarships a year at least. We hope to grow to more eventually for students that there's an essay. One that could be done with an essay, and one that can be done for a student that is pursuing a career in firefighting or lineman, which is what he was doing. He was going to be a lineman. He was just a few months from graduating, and he was one meeting away from being a volunteer fireman at the East Side Fire Department. So those are two things that are special to us that we want to help students do. And then also the essay portion is just, what is the meaning of time and what does that mean to you? Because we kind of want to get students to think about that because that's something that at that age, I don't think a lot of kids do think about. So we just kind of want to put that thought into them and get them thinking a little bit. And then also we like to contribute to that fire department that he's an honorary member, which has
Mhm.
been beautiful to us that they made him an honorary member and also, participated in his memorial, and it's just they've been beautiful. And another, I guess, beautiful aspect of that is that his younger sister is now a member of that fire department.
Oh,
So
wow.
she carried that on. I was very surprised that she's the one that did it.
Yeah.
She has, and she's embraced that, and it's been beautiful to see. And then I guess a goal of ours is to eventually dedicate a safe haven baby box in his name, but that is quite expensive, so that's going to be an ongoing goal. And then we've also kind of grown the past year into where we can fit into the community to kind of help in other ways to honor him and to let Rosie be a part of things. And she's almost 6, so she's getting to be a part of things more, which is exciting, and it's been really fun and a beautiful way for the family to come together, and even, people that didn't know Peyton have come together and helped and been a part of it, and it's been beautiful.
I love that. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but I love what you're doing to honor him and honor his memory through all of this. Do you feel like creating this organization and being able to help other people has helped in your healing journey?
Sure, it has. And just like I said, the family coming together too has really it's given us all, a way to contribute, a way to honor him. Like I said, a lot of our things are handmade crafts, so different parts of the family, and just to kind of see like there's a wide variety of everything from headbands to laundry detergent to artwork that his mom does, and I do want to also honor her in that. I am his technically his stepmom, and so this is a family thing, and this is something that me and his mom, his grandmom, his aunts, and friends, and everybody are his siblings are all a part of, and all have different roles in.
I love that. I love that y'all are coming together to do that. Do you set up like at craft fairs or do you create these things that people can order from you online? How does that work?
Yes, well, it started out as just we were gonna do just a online on the Facebook page, and that was gonna be it. That wasn't super successful, so we kind of evolved and we've done some craft shows. We did the CERT festival that I was telling you about. We're going to do the festival in Lindale this fall. Renee's gonna help us with that.
Okay.
And we have a community event at the Clayton Community Center coming up the Saturday before Mother's Day also.
That's awesome. One thing I wanted to ask, you mentioned, whenever you go through something like this, that life goes on, and that was one of the hardest parts was watching life go on when you were still grieving and still hurting. And what is something else that maybe people don't realize, people that haven't walked this road, they don't even think about that you're having to deal with?
One thing that comes to mind before this happened, I was one of those people that didn't want to bring up the person's name or anything about that person. You just like I don't want them to think about that. And of course, everybody in their grieving process is different. But for me, you're not gonna like all of a sudden bring him up, and I'm like, oh gosh, that happened. Oh my goodness, and I go through a crisis
Right.
of that every moment, and his family is aware of that every moment. So whenever you bring up someone that's been lost, somebody else, to me, and again, everybody's different, but I think a lot of us would agree that it's a beautiful thing. We want to hear those memories that you have of him. Like those are treasures to us, like something that we don't know that we weren't a part of is something that's really great for us to hear. So I would just kind of tell people not necessarily be scared to bring up that person, to bring up a memory that you have of them, even if it's like maybe writing it, if you don't feel comfortable saying it, maybe write a card or something like that is really important because I think that's the hardest part for a lot of us is just kind of seeing the world go on and not remembering them.
That's good. I'm glad that you said that because I know that'll be an encouragement to somebody that it's like you don't want to offend, you don't want to bring up hurt, but
Mhm.
I can understand it's probably always on your mind, so it's not like you said, you're not gonna be surprised when you hear
Right.
his name, so that's good, I'm glad that you shared that. The scholarships that y'all are providing, who can apply for those? Is there a specific group of kids?
Well, right now, this is only our second year, and we have been focused on the Beckville students where he went to school.
Okay.
However, I had decided because we have kind of grown with different parts of the community, different towns have been really encouraging to us. So I would, next year, we are going to open it up to everybody. It will be announced on the Facebook page
Okay.
and they'll be able to apply that way. And so it, we are going to grow to that next year. But right now, it's just for the Beckville student.
Sure. Okay, that's good though, that's exciting for next year. You know,
Yes.
I love that you are requiring that essay and making kids think because you're right. I mean, when I was 17, I did everything out of order. So I had a baby and then I got graduated high school and then I got married. So I did everything out of order. But I thought I knew everything at 17. Like, it didn't occur to me that something could happen that would be detrimental or painful or, it just
Right.
never occurred to me. So I love that you are asking these kids to write these essays and really think about their future and think about even tomorrow, even next week.
And that was actually his mom's idea. I have to credit her with that. She came up with that, and it was really beautiful to see all the entries last year that these kids were really thinking, of that. And some of the stories that they were sharing were really, really beautiful.
I love that. How have you felt the community has supported you so far in all of this and all of your family? How do you feel like they've supported you?
Well, they've been great. It's just been really nice to see, people that will come by, when I'm at a sale and just share a story about, maybe a family member or a child that they've lost and what they're doing, or, my friend Renee has been, I think, the greatest. She's been such a great help because
So sweet.
she's so sweet and
Yes.
she loves to talk to people, as you know, and she's really, really good at it. So she's come even after, she had hand surgery. She did that done to donate with us. She was, a great cheerleader. My mother in law has been steadily making all these beautiful crafts. And just, people in the community just supporting us, just donating, coming and telling us a story about Payton, telling us a story about their family, giving us ideas of things that might be needed in the community. It's all been a great response.
That's wonderful. Can you share a meaningful moment since you've started this and helped give scholarships and just being a part of honoring Peyton through all of this? Is there a meaningful moment that you can share?
Well, there's been lots. Last year seeing the students that received a scholarship was meaningful. And then also a fun thing that we did last year and this year was we painted these cupcakes, these wooden cupcakes for his birthday, and we hid them around town. And each cupcake was redeemable for 6 real cupcakes. And so,
Oh, that's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, it was really fun. We haven't had the stories come out this year, but last year they would share to Facebook and it show the kids getting their cupcakes and celebrating him and whatever occasion there was one that was also celebrating a birthday and so they were able to get cupcakes for their birthday. And so that was really beautiful. One story that also comes to mind that is just things are just kind of you when you do something like this, you kinda never know where it's gonna lead or what's gonna happen, and one beautiful story that I can think of, off the top of my head is I had, somebody contact me, and they wanted to donate items for the sale that we had coming up, and I looked at his, Facebook profile, and I didn't recognize him. We didn't have any mutual friends, and so I reached out to him and I was just like, "How did you hear about us? I'm curious." And it was the person that Peyton hit in the motorcycle accident. And it just was unbelievable to me that he would reach out. And I mean, and I want to say it was completely not his fault. He had no fault in the accident at all. But of course he was impacted by that and he had been following, and he had seen our story. He had met Peyton's mom also. She had contacted him and heard a little bit more, and they had shared a moment, but I had not met him, and so he did. He donated some handcrafted items for us to sell at the syrup festival, and it just really meant so much to me that he was thinking of us and he wanted to meet Rosie, and he did. He got to meet Rosie and him and his wife, and it was just a beautiful moment. It was kind of full circle, and it was really amazing to see how God worked in that.
That is incredible. Oh my goodness, I love it. What do you hope people remember most about Peyton?
Oh gosh, so much. I just, he it's really kind of crazy how I didn't see it at the time, but he was really getting in every moment. I mean, he was only 21 when he passed away. He had become a father. He was embracing that. We butted heads a little bit about it because, he wasn't doing it quite the way I wanted him, but he wasn't 40, It was
Right.
but he was doing it in a beautiful way, and he just loved his daughter so much. He loved life. Like I said, he was about to be a lineman. He was about to be a firefighter, and I was like, "Hayden, like, you do not have time to be a firefighter. What are you doing?" But he absolutely wanted to do that. 2 weeks before the accident, he was supposed to be, parachuting, and I didn't want him to do that either. The weather didn't work out, but he was always, just trying to fit everything in, and he wanted to experience everything, and, he loved people. He loved making people laugh. He was quite the charmer. I would always tease him, I'm like, "I know what you're doing. It's working. I know what you're doing," And, he loved to pick. He was just greatest smile. Just, he just at his memorial service, you saw how many the people that were there. You had bikers that were there. You had firefighters that were there. You had, grandmothers that were there. He touched so many people in such a short, period of time because he loved people, period. It didn't matter who you were or what your standing was. He would talk to you, and he would actually listen, to what you had to say.
I love that. That's one of the things God tells us to do. One of the most important
Mhm.
is to love.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. What would you say to anybody listening right now that maybe has just started a journey similar to yours? A major loss, and they are dealing with grief. And I know that grief is something that never goes away. It may change, it may show up in different forms, but I don't think it's something that ever completely leaves. But they're just
Mhm.
beginning this journey. How could you encourage somebody?
Well, I would, just encourage them to take it day by day, and that grief is in its own way beautiful because with that pain, there means that there was something beautiful there that's, not there anymore. But the grief is a way to honor that, and it can be, just embrace those moments and realize that there is beauty in the broken. There is still joy to be found, and again, it's kind of bittersweet because a lot of us who have lost somebody like that unexpectedly, that was such a pivotal person, it's you kinda have your life before and your life after, but there is still life after, and there's still a lot of things, that can bring you joy, and just kinda give yourself grace, give others grace, because everybody grieves differently. Just in our family, I've seen that. Like I said, I'm the type that likes to hear stories and talk and things, and then there's others that, kinda need that space. So, just give yourself grace and understand that maybe other people in your family aren't gonna grieve the same way that you do, and that is okay. Everybody found their own way on that. And I would completely recommend finding someone that you can talk to freely about that and a way to honor that person. And it may be, it doesn't have to be by starting a nonprofit or anything like that. It could just be sharing memories or doing good deeds or whatever that looks like for you. But that's been something that's helped our family tremendously.
That's so good. That is so encouraging. How can people support what you're doing? What is the best way to support Seven Roses?
Well, you can purchase items off our Facebook page if there's anything on there that you are particularly wanting or needing. And we do offer delivery, so or shipping. So that is an option, even if you don't live near. I do local deliveries too, but you can donate. We have a Venmo account. Unfortunately, there has been somebody that has copied our Venmo
Oh,
account, the
no.
one that does not have a dash. So just be
Mm.
careful to compare it to the one at the page because everything else is exactly the same. But you can donate. You can reach out to me if you want to. If you have items that you would like to donate for us to sell, that would be great. We're also looking for like venues, like if you have a community center or a public place that we could set up shop, so to speak, that would be great because that's been a challenge for us. We have an upcoming community garage sale that I'd like to do. I've been looking at community centers, they're quite expensive. So if anybody has a place, that would be great. But just, prayers, or if you want to volunteer to help with the sale, that would be great. Because sometimes, those sales are like from 8 to 5. And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes it's hard for me in our family to be there all day. So if you want to sign up for an hour of doing that, that would be great. Or, like I said, donating items. Again, we are having an upcoming garage sale that will be give if you can. It's a way to help the community kind of on our limited funds.
Yeah.
So we'll have items there, and if you can make a donation, it will go back to the community. So if anybody has an item that they would like to donate for that garage sale, it will be coming up either the end of April or the beginning of May. I haven't quite decided pinned it down yet, but I am accepting donations and I will come and get them. So if you have like a some things that you were gonna donate to Goodwill, this would be a great opportunity because I know for me, I sometimes I don't like giving to organizations like that because 'cause I'm like, "I just wanna give them to the person. I
Right.
don't I have to buy it."
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity, for them to do this, and then also a kind of an odd thing that I'm starting or like to start is I would not sure if I'm gonna be able to get this in order for this year, but next year, I would like to offer prom dresses, to girls that aren't able to afford them. So if you have an old prom dress, I would really that you're not wanting anymore, that would be or accessories, shoes, whatever, that would be something that I would really think would be able to help too.
Yeah.
So any of those things or just prayers, words of encouragement on the page, sharing
Yes.
or having an event. If you would just share that on your Facebook page and encourage others to go, that is a huge help and one that I don't want to be overlooked.
Absolutely. I talked to somebody about that yesterday about how easy it is. It takes 2 seconds to share something
Yes.
online and it's free. It's not difficult to do, but we don't do it as much as we should. That's a lot of great ways to support what you're doing. So I love that. You're giving people lots of opportunities to do that. Well, I am excited to share this nonprofit because I want people to know about this. And this is not something that they have to be right in your community to do. They can do this from wherever to share, to donate, or to do whatever they can. I love what you're doing to honor Peyton. I love how your family's coming together, and I think this is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And I thank you for being a guest today and sharing your story with me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will be in touch
Mm.
soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.